Hi viewers, this is the first lecture on the course titled English Usage. As I mentioned in my introductory lecture that we shall be focusing on the correct use of English structures that we have already acquired as the users of English as a second language. This course is meant for the persons who are non-native users of English language, and it can be of little help for the persons who have already acquired English as their mother tongue. During this lecture or any subsequent lecture, if you find any ambiguity, if you find anything that I have failed to make you understand, you can feel free to contact me either in the comment section or on the Facebook that I've already shared here below this screen. To address your ambiguities and your queries, I can make a short separate video that will exclusively be meant for you. Now to start with, I have selected a topic that puzzles most of the users of English language and exclusively the users of English as a second language. The topic is subject and verb agreement. Agreement is a word that can be interpreted in many ways. For example, it can be said that it is a pact, it is a memorandum, it is a promise between two parties about how to behave, what to do, what not to do, what to avoid, what to follow, etc. This is also in such lines. On these lines, we can say that this is an agreement between subject and verb. These are the two parties involved in this agreement. The subject says that if I come alone, you will also be in the singular form. And if I bring two or more things, you will also be in the plural form. Singular subject will take singular verb, plural subject will take plural verb. This is a simple explanation of the topic subject and verb agreement. Although I am not going into the minute details of what the subject is, what the verb is, but I feel it appropriate to have some bird's eye view about the terms subject and verb. So here is a rough attempt about the subject and verb. Simply speaking, if the sentence has some action verb, it must have some doer or agent. For example, in sentence number 1, I eat an apple daily. There must be a full stop. Keep in mind, without a full stop, the sentence will become incorrect. So, the sentence is I eat an apple daily. So there is some action verb here, eat, and it must have some agent, that is I. It is doer or agent of that action, and in this case this is the subject. This is the subject. If the sentence does not have any action verb, remember that the verb itself may be an action verb or a state verb. Remember the point. Verb can either have an action word or a state word. In order to clarify this point better, let's say that the verb can have either any of these three functions: doing, being, or having. Doing, being, having. So these functions are being realized in these three sentences. In the first sentence it is doing, then it is being, then it is having, possessing. So in doing, agent is the subject. In being, the topic is the subject, subtopic. I mean, there is no action, so there is no concept of doer. There is no agent. It is the topic about which the sentence is. And in many grammar books, subject is defined as the word about which the sentence is. Subject is a word about which the sentence is. I am going to clarify it even better, that it is doer or topic or possessor. So if the concept of having is being realized in the sentence, as in the third sentence, it is the possessor who is going to be the subject. I have many books. Here, I am a teacher. I have many books. I am a teacher. There is no action verb. It is just state. It is the being something. Being what? Being a teacher. And also, look at some other point. Being. It is am is a form of be. Be has 8 forms. Keep in mind, 8 forms. To have a better understanding about the forms of verbs of be, look at this range. These are the forms of be. So do not let yourself be confused that if I say am is a form of be, how is it possible? At this point, I will also like to clarify one more point, that the part of speech verb that has been cornered to some extent here on this screen is the master of all parts of speech. It is the king of words. Without verb, you do not have any sentence. You cannot make any sentence. Without verb, no tense exists. Verb is the word that changes in order to show you different senses, different tenses. And verb not only shows tenses but also person. It has tense as well as person. For example, I eat. If I write he, then eat will change itself to show person. I eat, but he eats an apple daily. We shall look more closely at this concept in the next screen here. And I have also chosen a topic for this lecture. It is the S mischief. You can see the S mischief. It is a very interesting topic. Mischief means being naughty, to do something naughty. Now we shall look at some particulars, some details about the verb. And as I have told you that the verb is the master of all words, king of all parts of speech. Without it you cannot have any sentence. So this S, that is very naughty, it is very mischievous, and it leaves no stone unturned in making any mischief, making any trouble anywhere it goes. But with the verb, it is not given a free hand. It is kept fully under control. It does not make any mischief. It is not allowed to make any mischief. It is not naughty in the case of verb, but it will become extremely naughty in the case of nouns with the subject. So with the verb, without any variation, if the verb has S or ES, the verb is always singular verb. And you can say that this S, this is just to remember the point. It is not the reality. It does not have any solid argument. Just to remember the fact that addition of S with the verb makes the verb as a whole singular verb. This S stands for singular. This is just to remember. This is a mnemonic, a sort of mnemonic. Mnemonic is something that makes you understand better. So if eat takes S, it becomes eats, as I have mentioned in the previous screen that the sentence was I eat an apple, and if S is added to that verb eat, it becomes eats, and that eats is a singular verb. Although I is also singular, but it behaves differently, and I will show you later. Have, although it does not takes S directly, but it has an ending that has S at the end. Be, it has two endings that have S at the end, is and was. And I have told you that there are 8 forms of be, and there are 2 forms that take S at the end. Do takes ES, not exactly S. This is just to show some uniformity in the principle. So does, eats, has, was, is, and does. All these verbs has S at their ends, and that S I have told you, in order to remember the point, S is singular. I told you that verb not also shows tense but also person. This is showing person in the form of S, singularity, and it can also show tenses. Here is a short table in order to clarify the point even more fully. Now there are 2 sort of verbs here: lexical verbs and functional verbs, or auxiliaries, helping verbs. Lexical verbs means the verbs that have complete meanings inside them and that are not helping verbs. They are complete in themselves. I walk, not walks. This is the present tense, and this is the past tense on the right side of the screen. I walk, you walk, he, she or it walks. Why walks? Because he, she and it are singular. You can either be singular or plural, but in order to be careful, we generally choose plural verb. Now this column was only meant for the lexical verb walk that has some meanings in itself, but these words do, have, be and again be do not have any meanings in themselves. Generally they are auxiliaries. So in the case of do, I will take do. In the case of have, I will have. In the case of be, I will take am. In the case of be past tense, I will take was. You will take walk or any other verb without s. You eat, you play, you smile, you sit, you sleep, you laugh, etc. Now in the case of do, you take only do, not does. And have, you are, you were. And he, she, it, he does, he has, he is and he was. Sorry, ठीक है? Okay, he does, he has, he is, he was. And the case is the same with all the three pronouns that are given here. Now in order to keep things very simple, I shall concentrate on the subjects that consist of only one word, and that one word usually noun or pronoun. So we shall be focusing on nouns. And now after talking something about the verbs, now we are going to move to nouns. I told you that mischievous nature, the naughty nature of s does not appear in the case of verb, that because the verb is the king of the words and there is a protocol of a king. S is not allowed to do any mischief in the presence of verb, but in the presence of noun, its naughty nature starts appearing before us. Now it should happen that usually, as we know nouns, if there is an s or es or ies added to a noun, the resultant word must be a plural noun. Is it so? This is a question. Yes, no, yes, maybe no. This is a very difficult proposition, whether it is always so that addition of s or es or ies makes a noun plural noun. And this difficulty is the very thing that has compelled me to limit myself to one word subjects in this lecture. Now these books, or only books you can say, these are just modifier, this modifier word. The word is books. Books provide an introductory overview of the grammar. Look closely at this example and judge whether it is this sentence is correct or incorrect. Books is a plural noun, plural subject. It must take a plural verb. We have a lexical verb in this sentence, provide. It is not an auxiliary, there is no helping verb, it is a present tense. So try to judge whether the sentence is correct or incorrect. Books provide. If it had been a singular noun, we would have taken provides, but this is plural, and provide plus s makes the verb singular. Look at the previous screen. Verb plus s or es makes the verb singular. So if we add s with provide, it makes the verb singular, and singular verb will agree with singular subject. This will make a problem. So this sentence does not have any problem. This sentence is absolutely correct. There is no problem here. Look at the next sentence now. Statistics are difficult for most of the students. Now we have the form of be here. We do not have any lexical verb. It is just a state of being. Something is or are. So a casual glance at the sentence seems to suggest that there is no problem here, as the verb itself seems to be plural. The verb is plural, there is no problem. But the problem is there, because statistics, although it seems to be plural, it seems to have an s ending that is usually the property of a plural noun. You can see s or es, ies added to a noun, usually it seems that it is a plural noun, but this is not a plural noun because it is the name of a subject, and it is a matter of coincidence that it has an s ending. It is confusing s. This s is just confusing. It confuses us. It does not make the word itself plural. So the correct sentence will be, statistics is difficult for most of the students because it is a subject. Statistics are can also be correct, but in some different context where it means facts and figures, it means data, but here it is not data, it does not mean facts and figures, it just means a subject that is taught and learnt at some college or some university. Now in the next few screens I am going to present some sentences before you, and the rule is the same. The sentence can be correct or incorrect. If it is incorrect, you have to find what can be the correct alternative of that sentence. I will give you a few moments in order to read that sentence and judge whether the sentence is correct or incorrect, and then provide the correct version of that sentence. Now read the sentence, and then if it is incorrect, also I will also present the correct one before you. So it is just an activity for you. Let's start it now. I shall also like to clarify one thing, that these sentences are harbingers of the rules that we are going to study in this lecture, at the end of this lecture. There are two methods to learn grammar, or rules or structures. The first rule is that, the first way or first method is that I tell you the rules and then give you the sentences. The second method is the one that I have followed in this lecture. I shall give you some sentences and you will deduce the rules from those sentences. Now the first sentence was, stars is blazing balls of fire scattered in space. Stars is does not make any sense. Stars is a plural noun. Being a plural, it must have taken plural verb, but this is not the case. It was incorrect. So the correct sentence is, stars are. Now this is correct. Stars are blazing balls of fire scattered in space. You must have judged it. It was a very easy sentence. Now look at the next sentence. Now I hope you have found out the mistake in the sentence. Through the use of scientific method, our eating habits. Now the head word is in the subject is habits. Habits must have taken have. We have seen that plural verb takes have. The correct sentence is, through the use of scientific method, our eating habits have changed, not has changed. The next sentence. Look at the next sentence now. Now just like the word statistics, this word is also very confusing, measles. It seems confusing if you do not know the meanings of this word. Measles is a disease. So it is the name of a disease as statistics was the name of a subject. So measles is a singular subject. Until quite recently were. It is incorrect sentence. The correct sentence is was, considered deadly for children. The next sentence is, the Faunal and Stratigraphic series has the same order. Now this sentence may seem very difficult to you because there are some words formal and stratigraphic. It is stratigraphic to be exact. Stratigraphic, it is we can say it is a branch of geology, and it is taken from strata. It is possible that you might have read or listened to this word strata of society, layer. Stratigraphic means the study of layer and making a representation of those layers. Faunal means related to animals. Now it is just being said that the proof that has been achieved through animals and the layers of excavation in some ancient ruin is the same, at the same order. So what do you suggest about the accuracy of this sentence, the acceptability of this sentence? The faunal and stratigraphic series. Again, the word series can be confusing for you. And I have got a complete rule about class of the words that contains this word series. But this can be singular, this can be plural. Anyhow, this sentence is incorrect, and the correct version of the sentence is as it is before you in the screen. The faunal and stratigraphic series have. The reason is that this series, if it has same singular and plural form, we must have some clue whether it is singular or plural in the given context. In this context, there are two series: faunal series, stratigraphic series. These are two different series. Now, series does not have any different variant for the plural form. That is why it is taking have. These are two different series here. Now this sentence, if a person believe, here the sentence becomes incorrect because the person is a singular verb, it must take s. The verb must take s, believes. The rest of the sentence is of course correct to save our time. If a person believes that wearing some kind of charm will prevent him from bad luck, he will wear it and will feel uncomfortable without it. Now the next sentence is he wants. Again, the problem is very clear. He wants to be a businessman. Businessman or theatrical manager or a book illustrator. He wants to be a businessman or a theatrical manager or a book illustrator. Now, there are some words before us, and these words all fall in the same category as statistics. Statistics. These words are all the same category as statistics. Why? Because they seem to be plural, but in fact they are singular. The s at the end of them is just confusing s. It is a part of them, it is not added one. I'll just read them one by one. Acoustics. Acoustics is a branch of phonetics, of course. Maybe the students who are from the background of literature or linguistics might know something about it. It is a property of sound. Athletics, classics, economics, ethics, gymnastics, linguistics, phonetics, physics, news, mathematics, politics, statistics, physics, measles, mumps, rickets, rabies, shingles. These are diseases. This line of words. Billiards, darts, dots, fives, and dominoes. These are games. So all of these words have s added to them, but in spite of that fact, all of these words are usually singular. There are some variants of them that are used as plural, but if it is the case, I will explain it during the sentences. Now, mathematics are taught and learned in almost every course. Look at the sentence, read it once, and decide whether it is correct or incorrect. It is the subject, so it must take is, not are. Mathematics is taught and learnt in almost every course. Politics is said to be the art of impossible. It is a system that is used to run the states, the countries. So being a system, politics is said to be the art of impossible. It is correct. There is no problem with this sentence. The next sentence, his politics are rather conservative. I told you earlier in the beginning of this explanation of this screen, that some of these words can be plural in some contexts, some special contexts, and this is one of those contexts in which the politics, one of these words, becomes plural. His politics. It means his political views. His politics means his political views, because of course it is not possible that there is a system for one person and that is different for other person. The system of running governments, states and countries is different for every person. It means that there is a chaos and anarchy and there is no discipline in the state. It is not possible. So of course his politics means his political views are is correct. His political views are rather conservative, means outdated. Now billiards are not played and liked. Played and liked. Let's make it correct. In every country. It is a game. There must be singular verb here. So R is not correct. Billiards is not played and liked in every country. Now the next screen contains a list of words. These words have same singular and plural form, as you can see the explanation at the end of the screen. One sheep, two sheep, not two sheeps. These words do not change their form either, whether they are singular or plural. So sheep, deer, fish, spacecraft, aircraft, hovercraft, series, species, headquarters, Chinese, Japanese, and there is a dotted line between the two parts of this list. Dozen, score, 100,000, million, billion, trillion, brace. Even brace is a word, and there are a few more words that are rarely used that fall into this category. We shall have a clearer view if we look at some examples that have these words. 10 million people have been infected with coronavirus. 10 million people. Now, if we say one chair, it will be chair. Two chairs. I would like to clarify the point. One chair. But what about 10? 10, of course, chairs. But here in this case, 10, not millions. If we say millions, it will become incorrect. 10 million people. And why is this so? Because million is there in this list. Million, billion, trillion, thousand, dozen, etc. So 10 million is correct. It is a correct expression. There is no problem in this sentence. But if any of the words that are stated below this dotted line take off with them, S will surely accompany them. I have said that if off is there, S will definitely be there. So there is a strong bond between S and off in this case. 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, it will not become thousands, but thousands is correct if off is there with any of the words that are below this dotted line. So thousands of infections are being reported daily. This is a correct sentence. There is no problem in this, although it takes S with it. But in summary, I'm saying that the words below this dotted line do not take S in usual circumstances, but they do take S. They necessarily take S if there is off after them. So here is off, so we can say thousands is correct. The good book means Bible states that average age for a man is 60 years and 10. Although it is not subject, but I want to clarify something. 60 is not correct. 60, it is a correct expression. If we say scores of years, scores of books, scores of people, score means 20. To make it that point clearer, score means 20. 3 scores means 3 into 20 is equal to 60 and 10 70. 3 score and 10 means 70 years. So Bible states that average age for a human being on this earth is 70 years. If fishermen catch, again it is incorrect expression, we shall say catches. Immature and breeding fish. There is a word fish in this category. this can also be confusing because generally plural for fish is fish, not fishes. Fishes means different species of fish, different kinds of fish. So the sentence was, if fishermen fishermen, okay, it was correct. It means that we should have to correct ourselves, not the sentence. If fishermen catch immature and breeding fish, it impacts on fish stocks. So here fish mean fish, immature and breeding fish. It is clear that the fisherman, if he goes fishing, he will not catch just one fish. We are talking about many, and even many will remain fish, not fishes. It impacts on fish stocks. In the next sentence, taxonomic identification. Taxonomy is a branch of, you can say, biology that grades the animals or plants according to their structure or any other property. Taxonomic identification of some fishes, maybe some species of fish now. So it is correct sentence. Fishes. There is no problem in here in this sentence. May be very difficult even for experts. A local police headquarters is a place where you must make asylum applications in person. Asylum means shelter for some people. Look at the list again. Headquarters. It is also present in this list. So we were talking about headquarters. A local police headquarters. Headquarters, in spite of taking S, can either be singular or plural. Now it is the context which will suggest whether the word itself is singular or plural. So here it is plural. Why? Because a local. A is an indefinite article that is used with singular countable nouns. Is a place where you must make asylum applications in person. So headquarters is correct. There is no problem in this sentence. The company's regional headquarters. Now the problem, the real point in the previous sentence was also that whether we should have taken S or is or. And is was correct because we had decided that this headquarters was singular due to this indefinite article are. Now the next sentence reads, the company's regional headquarters. Okay. To this point, also the point does not become transparent enough to allow us to choose singular or plural verb. The company's regional headquarters has or have, either is possible, but read on the sentence. Have started functioning in London, Miami, Moscow, Sao Paulo and Singapore. Now it has become very clear that he is talking about not one headquarters but many of them. So have is a correct option. This is a correct sentence. There is no problem here. Headquarters, we are talking about many. The headquarters at London, headquarters in Miami, headquarters at Moscow and so on. Now 800 new aircrafts. No, aircraft, because the plural form for aircraft is also aircraft. But now we are talking about 800 of them. There are many of them, not one of them. 800 new aircraft. So the subject is plural. It must have taken a plural verb. The verb is have, plural. The sentence is correct. There is no problem here. Now here there are some verbs that are called unmarked plural verbs. We have seen in the previous screens that if a noun takes S, IES or ES with it, it usually becomes plural. So we might tend to think that plural verbs are only those that have S at the end of them. But this is not the case. This is not always the case. There are some plural verbs that are unmarked, that do not have that usual typical S or IES or ES ending. There are some words written here: people, public, police, cattle, poultry, livestock, vermin. Vermin are insects as a whole. Look at the sentence in order to understand the point more fully. Our livestock are not as numerous as they used to be. Is it correct or incorrect? Livestock, we have seen here it is plural. I'm telling you it is a list of words that are plural, in spite of the fact that they do not have typical s or ies or es ending. So livestock, since it is plural verb, plural subject, it must take a plural verb. The verb is plural. There is no problem in the sentence. These vermin cause, everything is correct. These is also correct. If it had taken this and causes, the sentence would have been ungrammatical. All his cattle were grazing in the field. Is correct or incorrect? Cattle. Cattle is always plural. Keep it in mind. It can be singular only in one case, when we say one head of cattle is grazing in the field. Otherwise, it is always plural, unmarked plural. So, there is no problem here in this sentence. All his cattle were grazing. There is subject-verb agreement present in this sentence. There is no problem. We do not have any objection here. The police have caught the burglar. Now this is somewhat problematic for us, because in many languages, including Hindi and Urdu, we have police as singular, but the police in English is usually plural. In Urdu and Hindi it is singular, but in English it is plural. If we want to talk about some one person, we say police officer, police constable, policeman, policewoman, etc. But if we say police, it is plural. But if we say the police department, of course, then department is being talked about and it is a singular expression. The police have caught the burglars. It is correct. Is it correct or incorrect? It is, of course, correct. The police, it is plural subject, plural noun. Where are your poultry? Now, in case of poultry, there are two choices for us. By poultry, if we mean hen and other such fowls or birds, then the poultry word is plural. So where are your poultry? Where are your poultry? The sentence is correct, because we are talking about hens, chicken, or other fowls that are being kept by that person whom we are addressing. But if by poultry we mean the meat that we get from those birds, then it is singular. Now here the sentence will suggest some clue for us to decide whether the poultry means birds or meat, the eatable thing. The sentence says poultry are a good source of protein. It means that we are talking about the meat of those birds. Meat is a source of protein. The birds in themselves, if they are not eaten, cannot do anything about the proportion of proteins in our body. So we are talking about the meat of those birds. So the sentence becomes poultry is a good source of protein. The sentence is not correct here. We will have to correct it by putting is. Poultry is a good source of protein. Now this was the first lecture. If there is any ambiguity, anything that I have failed to make you understand, feel free to put your comment in the comment section or contact me through Facebook. I shall make a short separate video for clarifying your ambiguity. Till the next lecture, goodbye.